So we're in Riht Widu today, and it's been hard to get down here. It's really been wet. You wouldn't guess it by looking at the weather today, but it has not been easy to get out. Don't really have a specific plan for the day, apart from I think we're just gonna have a wander, see what's happening. I do feel, despite the weather, that there are definite signs of spring really just lurking and waiting to go crazy, despite how cold it is. But let's go have a look and see what's happening. So we've got a lot of these guys coming up, and I wasn't seeing them when we did our little plant video a couple of weeks ago. Little research seems to be suggesting they might be lords and ladies, which is a crazy name for a plant, or possibly, well, the other name being cuckoo pint. Also a very strange name for the plant, but there's a whole bunch of them popping up around here, and they look quite nice, but apparently they're quite poisonous, if that's what it is. I'm finding a lot of stuff is quite poisonous, which is interesting, but there you go. So many of these guys too popping up. If they're not wild daffodils, I'll be very surprised. This one already looks like it's ready to go. But yeah, I think it's going to be daffodil haven down here soon. That's why I say we're right on the verge. Just feels like everything is about to ping in a few sunny days and it'll go crazy. That's what it looks like to me anyway. We'll see. Down here you can hopefully see, and this is down by the fallen tree, just how many daffodils we're going to have popping up here. They are going crazy. We need to track this and come down when they all start flowering. Hopefully you can see a little bit of them springing up, but they are all over. It's going to be crazy. Interestingly, down where the water has been running across the path for a while, and it goes a little deep in the middle, a little deep for my shoes anyway, somebody's popped these two branches in here, and it doesn't look like you could use them to get across, but I actually feel like maybe I can shimmy along them and get over there. So I'm going to give it a go now. I don't think well, I guess I could show you what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to record it because I don't want to have to do it multiple times. But you can sort of shimmy your way along like this until one of them breaks, of course. I guess I may end up with very wet feet here. We'll see. Anyway, I need to concentrate, so I will be back. That just didn't work. The branch is a little too flimsy once you get in the middle. But I just spotted these logs over here. What I'm thinking, drop one down, not enough so that it stops the stream from moving, but just somewhere in the middle, and then I can use that as a jumping off point. We'll see how it goes. It might work. Will I be able to get back is the question. Maybe I can find something to give me some impetus in this direction. Ha! We made it. Just about. I'm not sure I trust going back this way though, so I think we're going to do what we did the other day and come back around, because it's it's a bit sketchy, and this way you've got to kind of jump onto the log, and it's too maneuverable. If it was bedded down, maybe I'd give it a go, but I do not trust that. So we actually made it past the fallen log a couple of weeks ago. If you haven't watched that, what I did was, instead of going over the stream there, I branched off, jumped over the river, I mean, whatever you want to call it, the overflow, jumped over that a couple of times, and then worked my way along the side of here, eventually popping over into the field and coming in the back way. So it's actually been over a month, I think, since I've walked this section, because we sort of bypassed it and headed around at the crossroads up ahead. So yeah, it has been quite a long time since I've walked this little section, Christmas tree row, all of that stuff. So it's nice to be back, albeit it was hard work. The primroses are now really beginning to flower. I noticed it over in Riht as well. A lot more of them are coming out now. I guess they are generally the first to show their faces. But yeah, it's nice to see them, eh? Very much the harbingers of spring being around the corner, I feel like. So this is the Riht Widu clearing. Not quite as impressively large as the ones over in Riht, of which we have two, but nevertheless is quite a branch for paths. Let me show you here. Behind you, that is the way back to the road that we just walked up over the fallen tree. To this side, probably hard to see from there, is Christmas Tree Row. Not a long path, but it leads to that field entrance there where you get over and you find the mystery chimney of abandonment. Behind us, this is what I consider the main continuation of the path that leads down to the younglings and the viewing stump from here, the vista I think I called it over here. And then over on, I guess you could say the right, is, what does that lead to? I think ultimately that probably leads to the way we're going to take back, which is into the fields on the other side and down by the farm, skirting down the side of the woods. So yeah, this is a bit of a hub of decision here. Obviously what I didn't mention is just before you hit the younglings, you actually hit the crossroads that we mentioned a couple of weeks ago. And that is another hub of paths that all lead in different directions. Riht Widu is definitely not quite as clear in terms of where you're going as Riht is, but that has its own charms as well. Alright, so we're at the crossroads, and I think what we're going to do is, as the time is running out a little bit before I need to go eat, we're going to head this way, which is going to lead out of the path that we took a couple of weeks ago again, and I realised I had never tracked when we did our initial tracking of the paths in here, but I think it's an important enough path, even though it runs slightly in and out of the woods, that it's worth noting down, and so I'm going to use my GPS to track my walk, and we will add that to the list. But yeah, just up here into the pine trees and onwards. Well, looky here, just on the way to the gate, found a little patch of daffodils, and these guys apparently have decided to start early. So that's rather nice, for us at least. Now this is an interesting spot, and I again don't remember if we checked this out, but it's a bit of a what would you call it, T-junction? We'll go with that. It's a triangle junction anyway. I think we're going to go down here, which is technically the way the path goes. But there is obviously a path down here as well. So we're just going to do a quick walk to see where this goes, come back, and then go this way, just to add it to the list if we didn't actually walk it the first time. I just don't remember. Okay, I think I know what happened now, because I see just down ahead is the little double log that, well, double tree trunks that have fallen over, that we hopped over when we did the mapping the woods. And as I remember, we hopped over those, we kept going, and we went on to what I think I called the secret path or some such. It gets very vague pathwise down there, which makes sense. This isn't the marked path. So probably what I did, I think that led back onto the main trail. So I probably never got around to coming back and trying this other path. So it's all beginning to make sense as to why we may not have marked this the first time. So here we are at the gate. This is definitely more official. There's arrows everywhere telling you where to go. So I expect this path actually gets walked quite a lot. But our intention is to follow it, see how well we do. Whether we'll have to split up from it at some point, we'll see. But we'll keep tracking it. So, somewhere just down here, and not very far down here, I'll say, probably, ooh, I don't know if to do meters or feet, but just imagine about halfway down, there's another gate that leads back in. So we only get a few steps of field if we're going to attempt to go back in, and I am going to attempt to at least go back in gently and see if that path comes to anything before we probably carry on with the field way. Alright, you can probably barely see it, but here's our way back in theory. I'm going to have a little look. It just doesn't look like there's any path here, but we shall see. There's some nice daffodils up here though, which I have a feeling we're going to be taking a lot of video of daffodils, but I mean, that's probably okay, right? I think I showed this last time when I had to escape out here, but I mean, I don't see a path there. In theory it's going somewhere, but I really don't see it, so I'm not sure we'll take more than a few steps in there before we come back. Oh, you know what? Maybe I spoke too soon. If you look down here, I'm going to put you at a horrible angle, I apologise for this. But just down here, I'm wondering if the path runs down there, because that looks slightly cleared. We'll give it a go and see what happens. Alright, I apologise for this in advance, because I'm sure this video won't be very pleasant, but let's take a little walk and see if this really does keep being a path. As you can see, it's technically just inside, as denoted by this barbed wire. So we are still in the woods. It's quite a lovely day, isn't it? Okay, I see some upcoming obstacles. This tree is obviously at some point. Who can say when? I wonder if there's an art to telling when trees have come down, judging by, I don't know, the decay, I'm sure there's ways, but yes, this has obviously fallen at some point, crushing the fence there as well, but this does still seem to be the path, albeit I'd argue getting a little bit more tricky. Ooh, and slippy. Oof. I see sort of footprints in the mud. Oh wow, look at these mushrooms. Sorry, it's not going to be the best because I'm in the wrong mode, but those are fancy. They look even better over here in the green. I will see if I can look those up and see what they are. I mentioned this before, at some point we will do a mushroom search, probably more towards the autumn, but I don't know if there are some that only appear at this sort of time. Anyway, we should continue our trek. This is a nice thing about getting off the bigger paths, is that you never quite know what you're going to run into. Find some little treasures everywhere. Let's lift that back up so you're not just looking at the floor. And I think I can see where we ended up last time. Aha! Indeed I can. That is a throaty call, which means you can hear it. Anyhow, we have arrived. So this path does work. And it's not, I guess, too dissimilar to what I did last time, but I'm trying to work out how I did it, and I don't remember. So it gets us to this area where we've got a little bridge just in front of us, and then one a bit more distant. We cross both of those and wander on through the field. I think we're going to call this something. I'm struggling not to just go with two bridges, or the double bridges. Twin bridges? We could do twin bridges. They are sort of twins as well, so yeah. We'll call this Twin Bridges. And hopefully I'll remember to mark it on the map. So this is essentially the field here that runs, I guess it's a couple of fields, but they run all the way alongside the woods, and the rest of the journey is going to be skirting along the edge really. We're not going back in here, so we are recording a path, and I think I will probably place it on the map, but it will be outside of the woods at this point. But it can be an important path, I have realised, especially at these sort of times, because as it happens, you don't have to jump across water over here, so I can use it as a way into the back of Riht Widu when I'm really not feeling that other path, because the rain doesn't seem like stopping this year. At least not for more than a day. So, unless anything else crazy happens during the week, this may be the signing off time. If it is, thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time with whatever we may happen to do. If we can get a run of dry days, it might be time to do birds, but that's definitely one I don't want to do in the rain, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I am nearly done here. We just have to walk through this little bit of field, and then, I don't know if you can see it, but somewhere up there is a gate which leads to the road, and back we go. Let me see if I can zoom. Boy, it's a bit dark in there, isn't it? You just have to take my word for it. There's a gate there somewhere. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye bye.